All right, so we're going to take a look at the practice test, and I'm going to try just writing right on it and see if it's a little bit more clear as I go through. Looking at number 1, it says there are 28 video discs and 9 music discs on a shelf. They want us to write the number of video to music. So we just need to make sure that we're keeping our order the same as what they're asking for, and then make sure that it's reduced. So they want video first, and then they want music. And so if I read the video, it is 28. And then you'll see the colon, and music is 9. And I ask myself, is there anything that I can divide both 28 and 9 by? I know that 7 times 4 is 28, and 3 times 3 is 9. And none of those factors show up in both. So I know 28 to 9 is my final answer. Looking at number 2, it says a bag contains 4 red cards and 7 blue cards. They want the ratio of red to total. So I like to go right above and write what I'm looking for. So red is right there written for me. I know it's 4. And to find the total, all I have to do is add 4 plus 7, because red and blue together would make the total. And 4 plus 7 is 11. And then again, I look to see if I can simplify that, and I cannot. Looking at number 3, it says state whether each of the following can be expressed as a ratio. Now, we talked in class that in order to be expressed as a ratio, you need to be able to get them in the same unit. So if I look at 3 pounds and 8 yards, I know that pounds measures weight, and yards measures length. So because they have 2 completely different measurements, I can't do this. So I'm gonna say no. Looking at number 4, it says 2 gallons, and gallons is gonna measure volume. 7 quarts, I know that quarts is another way to measure volume. And so because they both measure the same thing, yes, I can express it as a ratio. And it doesn't ask me to actually express it, so I don't have to worry about the conversions. Okay, moving on to number 5 and number 6. It says write the missing term in each pair of equivalent ratios. And the strategy that I like to use for this is I like to stack them. So my 9 is the first number in the ratio, and 7 is the second number in the ratio. And if you look at the blank line here, it is the first number in the ratio, and 49 is the second. So what I do is I look for where I know both terms. So I know the second number in both ratios. And I ask myself, 7 to 49, is it getting bigger or smaller? It's getting bigger. And so if it's getting bigger, what did I multiply by? What was the rule that was used? And I know that 7 times 7 is 49. So the way ratios work, kind of like fractions, you just do the same thing on the left side. And 9 times 7, I know, is 63. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Now, I do not need to simplify because I'm looking for this missing number here. This is one of the only ones that's like this. And we actually started in simplest form, so we just took it out of that. All right, looking at number 6. Again, I'm gonna stack them. So I'm gonna start with my 60 to 115. And you'll notice that 60 and 12 were the first terms in both, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And my missing number is my second term. So I look to where I know both, 60 to 12. So I notice that it's getting smaller. So if it's getting smaller, they must have divided by something. And I can use a multiplication chart if I need to, or I know that 60 divided by 5 is 12. And so I have to follow the same rule, and I'm going to take 115 and I'm going to divide it by 5. I know 5 doesn't go into 1. 5 goes into 11 twice, I subtract and bring down. 5 will go into 15 3 times. So 115 divided by 5 is 23. That missing number is 23. All right, looking at number 7, it says write each ratio in simplest form. So I'm looking for what number can divide evenly into 63 and 15. So I know the factors of 15 are 1 and 15, of course, but those 15 doesn't go into 63. I know that. But the other factors would be 3 and 5. And I know 5 doesn't go into 63 because it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. So the only option is to divide them both by 3. So if I want to quickly jot down 3 into 63, I know 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 3 once. So 63 divided by 3 is 21. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. And so I look at those again. 5 is a prime number, and it doesn't go into 21. 21's two factors are 3 and 7. And so I know at this point that it is in simplest form. All right, looking at number 8 now. I'm going to do the same thing. Now, it's nice if you can think of the greatest common factor right away, but if you can't, it's not really a big deal. So I'm just going to start. Most kids like to start by cutting the numbers in half or dividing by 2. And I know that 36 divided by 2 is 18. And 52 divided by 2 is 26. So I cut both of those numbers in half or divided by 2. And I'm looking at these and I know that they're not done because they're both even numbers. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take my new numbers of 18 and 26 and I'm going to divide them by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 26 divided by 2 is 13. So 9 to 13 is the best that I'm going to be able to do with that. The only factors of 9 are 3 and 13 is prime. So 9 to 13 is as good as it's going to get. All right, 9 and 10 are not my favorite questions. The wording is just not very good on these. And it's saying the ratio of Adam to Sam, and I'm just going to put the letters right over top, is 4 to 3. So Adam is 4 and Sam is 3. How many times Sam's height is Adam's height? And the way this works, the order that they ask, how many times Sam's height is Adam, it means it really wants you to start with Adam. So Adam, again, is 4. Sam, they told us, is 3. So 4 to 3, sometimes we can write it as a fraction. We can turn it into a fraction, which is 4/3. And if we went ahead and we divided 4 by 3, 3 goes into 4 once. And if we do our ring of fire here, this is our whole number, which is 1. The remainder becomes our numerator, and this is our